Happy holy day, Muslims, peacemakers. Welcome. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I was in another meeting. Started here in a second. Happy holy day. Back after a good month hiatus. Get our meditation music here going. All right. Go ahead and ping the room. Happy holy day, peacemakers. I know it's been a while. We back. We're gonna close out with our economic series. We're gonna open up for our next series of discussions that we're gonna have going into close for this year. So let's get started. I hope everybody's enjoying their holy day. First thing first, I want to give honors to the divine creator. I want to give honors to the prophet, Zabuwr Ali. I want to give honors to all the original staff of the prophet of Zabuwr Ali. I want to give honors to all the leaders that came after the prophet. I want to give honors to everyone that'll be here in participation tonight. As well, I want to give honors to all things Moorish. We're going to get started here. All right, so we still behind on a couple things because it took a needed break. I'll touch a little bit on that as well. But let's dive right on into our parliamentary opening with our divine supplication. And get right into our weekly readings. So as you all know, we begin all things first by using the all. O Heavenly One, the Most High, who is sustainer of all the worlds, we do accept the duty you have laid on us to clean up the filth made by the West and its non-submitting fools. O my sustainer, we beseech you to keep your hand over us to control the strings of the courses of our lives. And our sustainer, and if we do wrong, please show thy divine blessings and forgiveness on us. You are the only one that can raise us true followers of the news bearers, and in thy name, we carry on. All right. So we're going to jump into our weekly affirmations. Complete this opening here. All right. Like I say, I hope y'all are enjoying y'all Friday. Y'all can be anywhere in the world, but y'all will be here with me. And we will be I'm working on getting the uploads for this past 2 months up. I was having some issues with the editing software. Nonetheless, we're going to get that rocking and rolling. First thing first, we're going to go into what we accept as fact, the daily affirmation of loyalty of the children of Elohim. These affirmations should be read amongst you and your family, as I say here all the time. Where we accept this fact, the eternal laws of nature as revealed through science, past events, logic, and common sense, revealed as right knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We accept this fact the highest laws of nature is the cooperation and harmony of all living things. We accept this fact our way of life as a means to the best end. We accept this fact that loyalty is the greatest of all honors and treason is the worst of all crimes. We accept this fact that what is good for the Holy Tabernacle is the highest virtue, and what is bad for the Holy Tabernacle is the ultimate evil. We accept this fact that the Holy Tabernacle is the finest and noblest organization for all humanity, created by circumstances, and the ancient and mystic order of Melchizedek is the noblest of fraternities on and above this planet. We accept this fact that creativity, love, and cooperation are the essence of success. We accept this fact that truth and facts are always and has always been the originator and creator of all success. We accept this fact that all wild cultures and civilizations came about from the ancient Sumerians and Kamite Egyptians, and the Anunnaki or Elohims from the heavens, without which there would be none. We accept this fact that for the Holy Tabernacle to survive, expand, and advance, we need first of all a revolution of values and thoughts, which must start within each person by being truthful with themselves and about themselves. Therefore, we completely and categorically reject all myths, fictions, religions, and lies that have not been proven. That would include your heavens, your hells, your hellfire and brimstones, your horny pitchfork devils, your winged angels, and your old man God character sitting on the throne up there somewhere. We deal strictly with facts. If you can't prove it, we don't want to hear it. That doesn't mean we won't listen to you. Just don't expect us to accept your beliefs by virtue of a title such as Reverend, Pastor, Deacon, Imam, Sheik, Rabbi, Minister, Theologian, etc. That is your sensationalism, and we deal with just the facts. We accept this fact that the only true revolution is a war of good against evil, right against wrong, fairness against unfairness, loyalty against disloyalty, sincerity against sincerity, honesty against dishonesty. And this war is fought within each person among the agreeable and disagreeable Elohims that make up your willpower. We accept this fact that the unity of our community and its success will only happen with cooperation with all involved. We accept this fact the total unification of all humanity on the basis of truth. That is, accepting people and races for who and what they are, respecting their culture, their languages, and their beliefs, and expect the same. We accept this fact that the human race's biological and cultural heritage is now under attack by our own morals, our self-righteousness, our desire to control industry, and these things attack the very existence of humanity. We accept this fact that males as well as females are equal in all things and should be dealt with as partners in all matters. We accept this fact that no one race of people is better than the other. In fact, no one wins the race in racism. We accept this fact that communication between different people is the cure to the ignorance that breeds the disease hate. We accept this fact that a good and well-rounded education could prevent most of the ignorance that plagues the world. We accept this fact that the all is just that, the all. You can't take from the all, you can't add to the all. We are all within the all as one. That is our concept of what you call a deity. To the fulfillment of these facts, we children of the Elohim forever pledge our lives, our sacred honor, and our spiritual zeal. All right. Do one last share, y'all, and we're gonna get started this week. Next, we're gonna jump right into our Moorish prayer and divine supplication. So y'all know how it go. We do our prayers facing the east, feet at a 45-degree angle. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through His holy prophet, Zabuwr. Amen. All right, y'all. So we're going to open up with the divine constitution and bylaws. And as they state, Act 1, the Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779. It lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. All right, y'all, so we're going to open up here with our weekly readings. Islam. So, as y'all know, those that are astute at what we do here, we open up with chapter 25 of the Holy Qur'an, circle 7. Called the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. And it reads, "Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother had given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortune of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other." All right, so we're going to jump to chapter 47 and chapter 48. All right. And as I say all the time, this is the precursor for all behavior. We must maintain that respect. That's one thing I can't say about the meeting I just came out of, was there's a many much differences in personality types, character types, but there was still an underlying respect for one another, for both parties in the discussion that we was having. But I want to go ahead and jump into chapter 47, called Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa, and it reads, The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of Amexem, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between the Father and the Son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren, who sovereign from the land of Canaan, seeking new homes. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across Great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile westward across the Great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. There's no one who was able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator, Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet Noble Ali, the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. Our prophet Noble Ali was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before that great and awful day that is sure to come. The time has come when every nation must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess its own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honor not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. All right. So there's a lot that is being conveyed here. As I say all the time, it's something new. I'm sure you all get something new every time you read it to yourselves personally. At least I hope you would. And what's sticking out to me from what I'm reading, and just the energy that I'm picking up from our atmosphere, is that we have to really understand our origin as a people, especially as the Moorish people, who we are. We're not subject to just one location. If we understood the laws that go into Morocco, the origin of America and its true history, and really understand why the source connection to the Moroccans and the Moabites, getting into the debates of who the Moabites actually was, biblically, scholastically, that can come later. But tying yourself into who you are, as far as your ethnicity, and how things were structured by way of your ethnicity, far as in the form of governance, because your original governments were based on ethnical structures first. Case in point, we have to understand that every different group of ethnic stock represents a different organism. They're organisms, just different kinds of organisms, but all have the same humanoid structure. And being humanoid make us one big organism. But we still have to respect the fact that there is a natural governance within that fact and recognize who we are and our legacies, histories, and things of that nature within that. So we're going to move on to the next chapter, chapter 48. Called The End of Times and the Fulfilling of the Prophecies. And it states, the last prophet in these days is noble Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem man from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days to warn and stir up the nation and prepare them to receive the divine creed which was to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days there came a forerunner of Jesus who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. The Moorish Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the Prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc., that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of man under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nation as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. The covenant of the great God Allah, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be longer upon the earthland, which the Lord thy God Allah had given thee. Come, all ye Asiatics of America, and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights, because you are not Negroes. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love instead of hate. We're trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourself with the family of nations. We honor all true and divine prophets. All right, y'all. So we're going to keep it real short this week, but we are back in action. We're here to do our thing, to make sure people get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that they need. And I will be getting the videos up on YouTube so that way you guys can catch up. And we almost have monetization going as well. So we will be doing some things here coming soon. So first thing first, I want to go into the reason why we took that long hiatus. I've been working on a new book, and it required me to kind of pull back a bit. I've been working on translating the book of Samuel and adding on to that part 2 of the Clear Vision Scroll, Safu Kazum Katu. So I got that started and I'm almost done with that. But the reason for going into the book of Samuel because it's a very pivotal time in the Hebrew literature and text. And we understand that there's no actual definitive proof for these beings, characters that existed during this time, other than what you find in the Qumran tablets and their associations. So this is to take us further into where these characters come from and who they're actually based upon, and also show that these stories are our ancient legacies that have been wrote about us as God incarnate, priest kings incarnate, royal bloodlines incarnate, however you want to look at that. But our ancient culture of passing the scepter and our successorship, and how it is based on ancient bloodline, and being that we do incarnate by way of the divine spirit, how we do incarnate in cycles as spirits, souls, people, beings. I'm sure you have references to the fact that some people say, well, hey, that's my grandma. That baby look just like grandma, our great grandma. Many people have accounts of that. So I'm sure some of y'all out there will have references to what I'm saying. And also, we know that the doctrine of reincarnation does come from Hinduism. But keep in mind that if we're sticking to the context of things, especially us that know the prophetic knowledge, then we know that H.I.M or Adam is technically Hindu. So understanding that Hindu culture is based on a more summarized version of our ancient and divine creed that has been practiced throughout the stars. Now, it may change according to which galaxy, which planet, wherever we are at. But it has always been based on what today's categories call Gnosticism. Culturally, the Nebuah, or what people refer to affectionately as Nuabu. Regardless of people's personal views on the leader, the teacher, who came conveying the message, and how things unfolded with that issue and situation. But nonetheless, it's still the same. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the closing of our economic series, so that way we can get into, like I said, the next discussion that we'll be having here. So first things first, we've touched on, in our last Holy Day meeting, we touched on the economic philosophers, what they would call economists, and their positioning and contributions to the school of economics. We touched on the different schools of economics last time we closed out, and how we all should be participant in the world thought of economics. We as a people, Moorish people, indigenous people, having land, having financial systems, having a system of trade, understanding our cultures and our practices, but how they're based on what we call religion. Economics is nothing but the philosophical way to look at how we practice our culturalisms, our traditions, our religions. In the form of financial, business, and trade. When you're giving information, you're giving a trade, you're exchanging energy. It also expresses it in the mathematical terms and mathematical formulas and systems as well. So getting into the world thought of economics, participating in the school of economics, is something that should be pressed forward by us as a people. Not participating in propaganda, silly discussions, vain discussions, as we have read in the Holy Qur'an, Holy Qur'an Circle 7. Not just the Holy Qur'an Circle 7, but the actual Holy Qur'an, which is not based upon the already translated versions of the Quran, but based upon the actual original manuscripts that was passed down, that was actually jotted down or scribed by Mustafa Muhammad Al-Amin. So getting into economics for us is real pertinent. For example, I took time out to put focus on working on products, personal products for the temple, for the continuation of our doctrine, one of our customs that are the foundation for our whole ancient and divine creed. From a scholastic standpoint, this is so we could have a dog in the fight when it comes to talking about sources, references, scholarship that was actually done on our ancient and divine creed, our history. Going back to how this information was described, understood, even to those during that time and place. Because a lot of what happens over time is you lose the cultural mindset. For example, Noble Drew Ali 100 years ago, pretty sure there's a lot of things that got lost in translation today that is being done rhetorically by the Moorish Science Temple of America. Look at what we have in our issues with the divine and national movement. Understanding that We honor all true and divine prophets. We respect the knowledge and wisdom of Jesus. We respect the knowledge and wisdom of Buddha, Confucius, etc. So there's economics that need to be understood behind it all. There's economic philosophies that have up for immediate extraction out of our cultural extractions, our indigenous, ancient, and divine creed. So when it comes to formulas for today, like mortgages, contracts, starting businesses, there can be actual real centers that share a foundation for its school of thinking, for its way of thinking. And it's actually based upon our original culturalisms. This is the point for Noble. This is the point and reason for Noble Drew Ali pointing us back to our ancient and divine creed of Islamicism. He didn't say Islam; he said Islamicism, which we have mentioned here plenty of times. This takes you all the way back to the Egyptian pharaoh Imhotep and the word Hotep, the ways of peace. Now you have the insults that get thrown out there about those Hoteppers. But that would make all your people who are connected in some form or fashion, whether it's Olofi in Yoruba for Yahshua, or Isa or Haru, make all of them Hoteppers that want to connect back with their ancestors. Even if you just connecting back with your grandma to find that peace of mind, to get a slight bit of peace, a piece of the peace, because we're not truly going to have peace until we understand the point of having our own economic school of thought, our own economic foundation, and our own economically. What is our own? What is our own? Well, when we can look down a list of scholars of economic philosophy that look like indigenous peoples, and they're listed as founders in these economic premises, proses, formulas, etc., is what we can call our own, that are carried on to be utilized the same way that today you have statism that is being used in a de facto way, a mechanical way. Everyone gets up every day and operates what they call in the system. The machine. We give that machine its power, its energy, its economic input. But this is not a machine or system that was built for you to benefit you. It was created, structured to benefit off of your hard work and labor. Now, some of our people, they get some passes, things like that. But if we don't understand the economic cultural mindset, as well as we do understand all of this knowledge about the Anunnaki, the knowledge about the Elohim, the Umari, the Thunderbirds, the Kachina, etc., and not understanding the mindset of those that are using the system in a form of oppression, because a computer is nothing but the codex of what the actual true computer, which is the person, the individual, the being who put those codes, those logograms, syntaxes, languages, communications into the computer. And being who we are as the people of the book, those of the old, the ancient ones, we should understand this premise perfectly. So as I mentioned in our last holy day that we had about a month ago, we actually do have our own economic school of thought that we have the opportunity to get off the ground. That'll be one of the next books that I'm working on after I finish up with the Clear Vision Scroll number 2 and the book of Samuel, which I'm translating, going into. And we'll be continuing forward with our economic schools of thought in the form of published books and getting that information out there and just getting started where I'm at so far and the things that we have done over the years by actually creating our own macro and micro school of economics and incorporating those ancient and divine culturalisms that we have always done as a people. Some require the merging of certain formulas, systems, thought forms, things like that. But it will be our own ancient way of looking at things and understanding things from how our ancestors did. We won't be necessarily repeating failures, because this is also a way to open up that doorway for discussing how we went through these economic failures, cultural failures, as well as religious, philosophical, and everything else that comes with that. So, continuing on, I want to go ahead and pull some things out of the Holy Qur'an, Circle 7. That way y'all could have some things to digest as we continue on. And our next series, as well as the closing for this series. So I'm going to read the chapter, The Instability of Man. The Holy Instructions from the Prophet, called The Instability of Man. And it states, inconsistency is powerful in the heart of man, and temperance swayeth it. It wither, it will. Despair engrosseth it much of it, and fear proclaimeth it. Behold, I sit unrivaled therein, but vanity is beyond them all. Weep not therefore at the calamities of the human state, rather laugh at his follies. In the hands of the man addicted to vanity, life then is but the shadow of a dream. The hero, the most renowned of human character, what is he but the bubble of this weakness? The public is unstable and ungrateful. Why should the man of wisdom endanger himself for fools? The man who neglected it his present concerns, to revolve how he will behave when greater feedeth it himself with wind, while his bread is eaten by another. Act as becometh it thee in thy present station, and in more exalted ones, thy face shall not be ashamed. What blindeth it the eye, or what hideth it the heart of a man from himself, like vanity? Lo, when thou seest not thyself, then others discover thee most plainly. As the tulip that is gaudy without smell, conspicuous without use, so is the male who sitteth it himself so high and hot, not merit, and have not merit. The heart of the vain is troubled while it seemeth it content. His cares are greater than his pleasures. His solicitude cannot rest with his bones. The grave is not deep enough to hide it. He extendeth it his thoughts beyond his being. He bespeaketh it praise to be paid when he is gone. But whosoever promiseth it deceiveth it him. As the man who engageth it his wife to remain in widowhood, that she disturb not his soul, so is he who expecteth it that his praise shall reach his ears beneath the earth, or cherish his heart in its shroud. Do well whilst thou livest, but regard not what is said of it. Content thyself with deserving praise, and thy prosperity shall rejoice in hearing it. As the butterfly who seeth not his own colors, as the jasmine which filleth it not the scent it casteth it around it, so is the man who appeared gay and biddeth it others to take note of it. To what purpose, said he, is my vesture of gold? To what end are my tables filled with dainties? If no eye gaze upon them, if the world knows it not. Give thy raiment to the naked, and thy food unto the hungry, so shalt thou be praised, and feel that thou deservest it. Why bestoweth it thou in every man the flattery of unmeaning words? Thou knowest it. When returned thee, thou regardest it not. He knoweth it, he lieth it unto thee, yet he knoweth it, thou wilt thank him for it. Speak in sincerity, and thou wilt hear with instruction. The vain delighteth it to speak of itself, but he seeth it not that others like not to hear him. If he had done anything worth praise, if he possesseth it, that which is worthy of admiration, which is worthy of admiration, his joy is to proclaim it, his pride is to hear it reported. The desire of such a man defeateth it itself. Men say not, behold, he had done it, or see, he possesseth it, but mark how proud he is of it. The heart of man cannot attend at once to too many things. He who fixeth it, his soul on show, loseth it reality. He pursueth it bubbles, which break in their flight, while he treads to the earth what would honor him. So, with that, I want to go into the purpose for tonight's closing series, and understand that we have to shift our focus. When it talks about vanity of vanities, it's talking about equity in the form of spirituality, however you want to look at that. Spiritual equity, etherical equity, energetic equity, either or, however you want to look at it. And be not puffed up with things of vanity. Understanding what are the principles of vanities. So when it comes to economics, vanity and the things of vanity should be understood and incorporated versus creating a system of have and have nots. The way that the elect and elite are selected, especially. Sounding good and sounding scholarly, it's okay. But when it shows to be phallus in the standards of why it's being done, and the whole standard of why it's being done is based upon vanity, then that changes from someone who's actually sincere in what they're doing, from the standard of being sincere. And those persons, peoples, individuals with the standard of genuine or sincere input, as we like to say. So we're gonna keep it short here. We're gonna jump right into our weekly current events, which we don't have much we can go into here this week, other than the fact, like I said, I have to update the website and also our videos, getting our editing software back up to par, and also getting our store going as well. So with that, we're gonna jump into our weekly reading for El's Holy Qur'aan. And the reason for continuing with these readings, especially what they call the sacred texts, these actual texts, if we understood, were actually created for real, true, and genuine intents and purposes. It wasn't until later on when the translations of these versions of these scriptures and things like that came, and we went into more of a phallus and vain attempts and control by tyrants and other disagreeable things or things of the lower self that came along with all of that. So we have to keep in mind that there is a link between one sacred text back to the other, which is the reason why I'm doing the book of Samuel, which is about the seer during that time of Israel, which we are in those same times again, because we're placed with the choice of having a theocratic commonwealth or rulership based on men and women. And we've had this going back to your ancient Sumerian days with the Enlilites and the Inkiites, one being democratic, one being republican in its structure. The Inkiite structure being republican, wanted to repopulate, wanted to recreate the public, and the democratic, which were ran by the people and people of the Deimos, lower self. But there was a structure for that. These are beings that were considered workers, that the more evolved, intelligent beings who helped in the creation or speeding up the creation created. So down to today, what you have, Democratic and Republican schools or sciences of politics, political theories, political science. You get the Democrats, you get the Republicans. That was republished through the Socrates and other Greek philosophers who actually got this knowledge by way of ancient Egypt. So we're going to go into chapter 30. I'm pretty sure because we read most of this where I'm at right now. It's okay. We read most of this all the way up to chapter 32. Chapter 31, I think we stopped at 30. Al-Qariya, the striking. So we're going to pick up there. We're going to read all the way to chapter 33 for this week's reading. And then I'm going to get into our instructions on joining the Moorish Science Temple of America and becoming an actual member of an actual official temple. All right, so y'all know how it go. We begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah, the Rahman, the most merciful. And the commentary reads, what is the terrible striking? It is the day when the Enocytes will be scattered like butterflies. The Jabal will be like wool. He whose scale is heavy with righteous deeds, he will have an easy life. If his scale is light, he will have the pit of Hawiyah, which will be considered hell. So the ayats read, Al-Qariya, the terrible striking, meaning meteorite showers to come. What is the terrible striking, and what will make you perceive what the terrible striking is? It is a yam, day, when Al-Nas, the Enocytes, will be like scattered farash, butterflies, and Al-Jabal, the mountains, will be like shed, manafush, meaning wool. As for him whose mawazin, meaning scale, is heavy with righteous deeds, there will be a pleasing isha for him, life. As for him whose scale is kafa, light, so his adobe is hawiyah, the bottomless pit or hell. And what will make you perceive what this hawiyah is? It is a very hamiyah, hot fire. Sudaka Allahu el Azim. So, telling us right there, depending on which path you make for yourself, you can put yourself, in the pathway to a burning hell. And that burning has to be something crazy, because that burning is a part of the mental plane. Because we know heaven and hell is a place you grow to, not a place you go to. And you create your hell on earth. So imagine creating this etherical hell, because not understanding how to balance the scale, not understanding how things have energetic systems, balancement, operations. understanding these omniversal laws of the universe, or laws of the universe, omniversal laws of the universe. All right, so we're going to jump into chapter 31, which is called Hikmah, the standing resurrection, which was changed to chapter 75, and the mistranslated version of the Qur'an. And chapter 30 was changed to 101 in the mistranslated version of the Qur'an. So Hikmah means the standing resurrection. So let's get into it. Begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah the Rahman, who is the most merciful. And the commentary reads, Muhammad swears by Hikmah, and he doesn't swear by the person who constantly blames another or accuses himself. Does the Inosight think that the Elohim can't gather his bones? The Anunnaki also reconstructed its Bana'a. The Elohim, the Inosight wants to deny the day of resurrection. He asks, Ayan, is the day of resurrection? When the sight is dazzled and the moon and sun are gathered together, the Inosight will want to know, where is the Mafar? So the ayats read, no, but I, Muhammad, swear by the day of Hikmah, standing resurrection, and I, Ahmad, don't answer by the nafs, person or spirit, which constantly is al-lama'a, al-lawama, blames others or accuses himself. Does the Al-Insan Inosight thinks that we, Anunnaki, cannot gather his ism, bones, to resurrect him? Why we, Anunnaki, can even reconstruct the tips of his, the Inosight, Bana'ana, fingers. In fact, the Inosight wants to deny what is right in front of him, meaning the day of resurrection. He, the Inosight, asks when Ayan is the day of resurrection. So when the sight becomes barak, dazzled, and kasafa, al-kamah, the moon is eclipsed, and al-shams, the sun, the kamah, moon, are gathered together. These days you see the sun and the moon out together in midday. The Inosight shall say on that day, where is Mafar, meaning place to escape. So the next set of commentary reads, there won't be no place of refuge. To your Rab is the only place of rest. On that day, Inosights will be informed to as what made them advance or akkar. The Inosight's spirit will not see his decision. Muhammad told not to hurry the Qur'an. The proper reading of the Qur'an is on the Elohim. So follow the Qur'an's readings. The Qur'an's reading. Inosights like the life of this Ajla. So that is the commentary of the next section here. So we're going to get into the next section of ayats. It states, by no means will there be a place of refuge to your sustainer who is Ra. Is the only place of rest on that day of resurrection. Al-Insan, Inosights on that day, will be informed about all that made them to Kadam, advance from Homo erectus to Homo sapien, or Akka, regress from Homo sapien back to Homo erectus. But in fact, the Inosight spirit will see the Inosight's own judgment, and even if the Inosight, puts forth ma azara, excuses, don't, talking to Muhammad, move your lisan, tongue, so as to hurry it, meaning the Quran. Don't rush to read it, is what they're saying. Surely on us, Elohim Anunnaki, is the gathering of it, the verses, and the way it, Al-Quran, is to be read. The proper reading, or the original order, is the only and right way. Fa'idha. So if we Nahi Anunnaki, read it, the Quran, so follow its reading. They had a system in Kurdish dialect to read it. Then surely It is on us, Elohim Anunnaki, to give its explanation. Bayana, clear evidence. It explains itself by the angelic beings. Nevertheless, but you, Inosites, like the life of this Ajila, passing world, the next commentary section here says, Inosites neglect the ending, neglect the end. Some faces will be shining on that day. They will be looking at their Ra. Other Inosite faces will be miserable, thinking about the calamity that will come to them. A lamp will be in the Taraki, and it will be asked, who is the Ra? It is the separation of the body and soul, the moment when reality hit. You will be departing to your Rab on that day. So the next ayats read, and you will neglect the fact that the end will come. Some Wuju faces on that last day will be shining with happiness. Just look at their Rab, who is sustainer, and other faces on that last day will be Bashira, miserable, thinking about the calamity that will be done to them in it, the last day. Nevertheless, when it happens, a lamp will be in their Taraki, meaning throats, and it will be said, who is the Ra'ak, the enchanter or the magician? And as he thought, surely it is the separation, the soul, meaning the soul from the body, the separation from the soul, the separation from the separation of the soul from the body. In that moment, the reality of death and the departure of this world will join, basically hit that person as an epiphany. As a departure of reality, you would be departing to your master or sustainer who was robbed on that day, returning to Ilium. So the next set of commentary reads, the concealer of the facts didn't Sadaka in the Qur'an or Muhammad. The concealer of the facts Tawala from it. Then he will turn back to his family arrogantly. The destruction and the judgment are nearer to the concealer of the facts. Does the insan think he will be left unaccountable? Is not the Inosite a mere drop of Nutfa? Allah completed and proportioned him from black mud. The source made male and the second part, female, from him. Is not he, Allah, who gives life to the Mata? So the ayats read, so he, the one, meaning the one who conceals that which he knows to be the facts, did not Sadaka, trust, meaning trust, the Qur'an and Muhammad, nor did he, the one who conceals, meaning the one who conceals what he knows to be facts, want to Salah, meaning send salutations as worship. But what he, meaning the concealer of the facts, did, he denied, meaning he denied about not overstanding, and Tawala turned away. Then he, the one who concealed that which he knows to be the facts, went back to his all, meaning family, arrogant and proud and haughtiness. The destruction is Allah, nearer to you, O one who conceals that which he knows to be the facts. It is very clear. Then know that the judgment day is nearer to you, meaning the one who conceals that which he knows to be the facts. Then you know. Do Al and Sons, Inosites, think they will be Suda, left unaccountable for changing the Quran? Is he, the Inosite, not a mere drop of Nutfa, sperm or life germ that fertilized the egg, meaning in Ninti, the Anunnaki? Then he, the Inosite, was a separation of cells, alaka, congealed blood clots, fertilized egg. So he, Kalak, created him, Adam, Zakar, Cadman, and made him complete proportion, Sheik from black mud. So from him, Adam, Cadman, Zakar, now we made Al-Zajin, mates or twins. Al-Zakar, meaning forgetful male, and Al-Unta, meaning female or a second part which consisted of Abel and also Aquilima and Cain and Labuda, is this not he, Allah, who is able to give life to the Mata, the dead? Suraka Allahu El Azim. All right, so like I said, we're gonna stop at chapter 33. But this is clearly talking about those kind of like the discussion I was just in that are denying the facts of the knowledge that is being brought to them and trying to use scholarship to find a way to deny the facts that have been put right in front of their faces, which you find very, 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 very odd, and don't really have a counter, which listening to is very entertaining, I shall say that for the most part, because mainly what they do is they'll take your point that you made, then read it in the scholarship that they're sourcing, and then come back and say that what you're saying is not true, but they actually just affirm what you said in the scholarship that they're reading. And it's very crazy. It's getting crazy at this point in day and time, especially for those that are be coming in listening to these records and recordings in the future of these holy day services and meetings that we'll be having about this information that has been conveyed during this time. We are in the year 2023 and we're going into the year 2024. And in the next 7 years, there's going to be a lot of things that verify itself even further. But we have work that needs to be done, because as the master teacher said, he doesn't have a monopoly on these things. Now, if we want to give honor to the master teacher, just as we honor the prophet, we're told to honor and respect Yahshua, Confucius, Buddha, the people of the book. We're the people of the Ketub, the Kitab. So respecting us congealing a culture that is based on the ancient and divine creed, as the master teacher did by stating, well, hey, we are the Nabi, the people of the book. We are the prophets. We are the messengers. We are those Nabi. We're that bloodline of prophets. This is what the prophet came saying. We're the continuation. We're the ethnicity and the continuation of those great sages. And this is what was waiting. This is what was waited for. The prophet mentioned in some of the literature in his oral sayings. He remembered the days when he was Noah, when he was a part of the energy in the being that we affectionately refer to as Noah. Udnafishnam. What really baffles me is when you have these records from all over the planet of beings and civilizations and of peoples describing the same events, same characters, though they may be putting them in their own language. But you sit right in front of the proven facts of these things and you deny. Not even realizing you're utilizing the same logic that caused you to want to get into the same, you're using the same logic of the people that oppressed you that caused you to want to get into knowing about yourself in the first place, because this information was oppressed from you. You was oppressed from it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into chapter 32, which is called Al-Humaza, meaning the slanderers. See? And this was moved from chapter 104 to chapter 32. So, we do begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah the Rahman, who is the most merciful. Curse, in the commentary reads, curse be to every slanderer and backbiter, he who recounts his money and think it will make him immortal. He will be cast into Hutama. Hutama envelopes the Afida. It will be closed over them in long columns. So the ayats read, curse be to every Humzama, slanderer, and Lummaza, backbiter, he who hoards mal, money, and recounts it over and over again. He Yasab thinks that his wealth will make him Aklad, immortal. Nevertheless, he will be cast into Hutama, the hell of the slanderers. And what Adraka will make you perceive what Al-Hutama is. It is a blazing fire that the source Allah kindles to destroy him, which Tatalia leaps out and envelopes on the slanderers Al-Afida in our hearts. Surely it, Al-Hutama, will be closed over them in long amat, columns of meaning of fire. Surika Allahum El Azim. So the slanderers, the backbiters, and that like I said, we had our characters and personalities that I was listening to earlier, going back and forth. But this is a lot of what you have. You have backbiters who don't respect the scholarship because they don't understand a certain portion of what this one scholar who proved things more further than what others do. And, of course, end up in situations like most of our indigenous Moorish leaders have always been in since the time of these moon cycles, which is the cycles of disorder and these periods of disorder. Of course, you're gonna have those that go along with whatever conspiracy or form of mutiny and coups that have been pressed against our leadership. And the backbiting, the slandering starts to seep in, the gossiping start to come in. But it's real tight knit on how this ancient doctrine folds into one another. And a lot of things that the master teacher did come in to correct, he actually used real source reference information and why he would disagree with that person. Not backbite them, nor slander them. I would prefer to be informed about the things that I'm blindly associating with, and that person can't directly tell me or have a way to directly tell me, because so may happen I stumbled upon that information and get correction. It's simple. So we're going to jump into chapter 33 called Out of Masalat, meaning the one sent. And they moved this chapter 33, to chapter 77 in the mistranslations. As y'all know, begin our prayers and thinking by using the name of the source, Allah, the Rahman. who is the most merciful. The Mursalat are one sent forth. The strong, and this is the commentary, I'm sorry. The Mursalat are one sent forth. The strong winds and hurricanes are signs that forerun the one sent. Al-Mahdi and the reformers who carry out their teachings to clear up misinterpretations and to warn. Hell's fire will come to pass, and the stars will disappear, and the heavenly skies will furjihat, and the mountains will be reduced to dust. That's the commentary. So let's jump into the ayats, which states, and al-Mursalat, the one sent forth, meaning with the scriptures, one after another in Urfa succession. Then al-Asifat, violent, meaning violent hurricanes and strong winds, which are the signs that forerun the one sent, and by those who spread far and wide like clouds before the rain. Then by fools who al-Fariqat make distinction between them, putting Moshe, Muhammad, or Yahshua above other news bearers and their books above each other. Then as for those, meaning these warners, Muhammad, Ahmad, al-Mahdi, which means the calmer, Noble Drew Ali. No, I'm gonna say it again. Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, Al-Mujida, the reformer, Malachi York, who enforce and carry out the Rasul teachings that you may remember, to clear up misinterpretation or to warn. Surely all that you are threatened with will come to pass, meaning hell's fire. So the signs will be when the stars, Tumasat, disappear from the sky, and the sky becomes blackened with polluted air. And when the Sama'ah, heavenly skies, will be Furijat, ripped opening of the vortexes, and when the mountains are Nusifat, reduced to dust, volcano eruption. And it stops right there and gives some more commentary. It says the Rasul have been given a fixed time. Each person will be separated on the day of Al-Fasl. Cursed be to all liars. Elohim, Anunnaki, destroyed the Awalim of Noah's time. They made generations to follow after them. And it continues, and when the Rasul, one sent, have been given a fixed time, meaning which has come, the year 2003 and the year 2030. And like I said, we 7 years from that year 2030. And this is being done by Spirit. I didn't know this is going to be in chapter 30 like it is. So we just going to keep going with that case in point. After which the day, meaning the day of decision, is fixed after the last news bearer, the news bearer Muhammad's time. Then the last day will come. For the day of Al-Fasl, meaning separation, or when each person will be separated, meaning sectism. That's talking about today. Those 7 years from then, we have a sectism all over the place, opinions of everything all over the place, in different groups for each and everything all over the place. This was not like this almost 100 years ago, 150 years ago, 200 years ago. It wasn't as bad as it is today. That was the start. That's what led up to where we at today. Going back at least 4,000 or 5,000 years. And what will make you be able to perceive what the day of separation is? Cursed be to all the liars on that day. Didn't we we not he, Elohim Anunnaki, destroyed the first ones, Al Awalim, through inner sights of Noach or Utnapishtim time, then we not he, Elohim Anunnaki, made generations to follow them. The inner sights of Utnapishtim time in the last days. This is how we not he, Elohim Anunnaki, dealt with Al Mujrimin, the guilty ones, before the flood of Noach's time. Cursed be the Mukazabim, liars, on that day. And the commentary reads, didn't Anunnaki create insights from an insignificant liquid? Anunnaki made the fetus in a secure place. Faith will make known the birth. Anunnaki controlled the faith. Walum to all the liars on that day. Planet Qui is a kafad to create man. Anunnaki made huge mountains and waterfalls for them. So the next ayats read, didn't we not he, Elohim Anunnaki, create you, inosites, from an insignificant water or liquid, meaning the sperm or a seed of Ninti? So we not he, Elohim Anunnaki, made it the fetus grow in a secure place, the womb, until Kara, faith, makes Ma'alun, known, the birth. So we not he, Elohim Anunnaki, control faith. How gracious we are with destiny or faith. Walun, curse be to the liars on that day. Did we not he, Elohim Anunnaki, not use the ground, the planet Earth, Tiamat, Al-Ard, as a place where things are kafad, gathered, create Kadmon or Adam from it, and return him to it at debt? And we not he, Elohim Anunnaki, made huge mountains, waterfalls in it, the planet Qui, Earth, and Askanakam provided you with fresh water. Cursed be the Mukazabim, liars, on that day. The next section of commentary says, they are to proceed into the direction of hell. Hell possesses three. Shuab, there is no talil or protection in it. It will throw sparks as the biggest kasa. Its flames will be yellow as camels. Cursed be to all the liars. The liars won't be able to speak clearly. They won't be given permission to apologize or make excuses. Elohim will gather all insights on the day of separation. If you have any scheme, then scheme now. Anunnaki reward the doers of good. This part right here. So let's get it to the ayats. It says, now Antalik, proceed into the direction of, meaning that hell, about which you lie. Proceed into the direction of the unlit shade. It, meaning hell, possesses three layers. Shua, which means plains. In it, there is no zalil, not talil, zalil, shade, and no protection of any kind from the al-lahab, ferocious flame. Surely it, the flame, will throw up shara, sparks as big as the biggest al-kasa, towers, meaning towers. Flames as the yellow jama'ala, camels. Curse be to all the liars on that day. This day, the liars won't be able to yantikun, speak clearly. They will be tongue-tied, meaning they'll be tongue-tied. And they, the liars, will not even be given permission to make excuses or apologize. Curse be to all the liars on that day. This is the day of separation. And we, not he, Elohim Anunnaki, shall gather together all of you and those who were the first inosites, who were before the flood of Noah's time. So if you have any scheme, then now is the time to use your scheme. Curse be on the liars that day. The next commentary reads, those who tremble at the mention of Allah will be able to drink out of kata and fawakit, all that they desire, they are to eat and drink wholesomely. Eat and enjoy yourself for a short while. Cursed be to all the liars when they are told to bow. They don't. And what hadith will they put their faith in? So the next ayats read, surely, as for those who tremble at the mention, they will be shaded, given of the fountains of Qatar, and all the fawakih, fruits to eat, meaning these are physical fruits, that they desire. Eat and ashrab, drink wholesomely, because this is that which you were working for. Surely, kazalika, just like that, we Nahi Anunnaki will reward the Musani, ones who does that which is best. Cursed be to all the liars on that day. Kalu, eat and temporarily enjoy those who love this life here on earth. But for a short while, for you all are guilty ones. Cursed be to al mukazabin, the liars on that day. And when they are told to arka'u, bow down, they don't bow down. Cursed be to all the liars on that day. So in which hadith or tale after it, meaning the Qur'an, will they put their faith in? Sudaka Allahu el Azim. So we're going to come back next week with chapter 34, which is called Kaf, or Kaf, meaning the two readings, or the Quranic two readings. And we're going to start off right there with that. But it's essentially, going into the same thing that we left off with on our last holy day. If you don't understand the knowledge, the customs, the traditions of doing things the right way, and you want to put all that energy and effort into scheming and scamming, etc., that has a etherical and what they call karmatic effect. It may not come to you now. It may not even come to you in this lifetime, but it will visit and pay a visit to your descendants and or those closest to you in your family. Either or. You can either be a blessing to your people or a curse to your people. These are not the first times the angelic forces that have incarnated in beings or different beings that's been guided by different higher intelligences have faced persecution. Whether it's been Noble Drew Ali, whether it's been Elijah Muhammad, and other leaders all the way down to the past. So there's a pattern, whether it's melanated beings, indigenous beings, Moorish beings, or not. But you have clear warning to stay on that straight and narrow path of just doing the right thing, like Spike Lee said. So with that, y'all, we're gonna get into these holy instructions to join the temple. I'm gonna also I'm gonna put the link up there for a second for one of the books that I just recently published. That you all could also take a look at as well. But we're gonna get into our holy instructions for tonight on proclaiming your nationality. Of course, we go over our civics, which we touched on tonight in the form of our civic economics, and how our civics is what gives us the precursor for our economical philosophy, and why these two things fold into each other. Same way as political science, political theory 101, or political theorems, as we like to say, because it's based on a theorem. The study of behavior, which gets into sociology. So, with us coming from a new logical perspective, like I say, put that thinking cap on, understand how to use the foundational school of thought, and we create an actual economy behind it and with it. This is still being done by the oppressors throughout all the lands. They're using their system, doctrine of oppression, going all the way back to whether it's mythology, religion, prehistoric civilizations. It is the same behavior patterns sociologically. So with us having the perspective which gave birth, the perspective science that gave birth to all these things from our new logical school of thought, we have to be utilizing this for our economic output. So with that, we're going to jump into our holy instructions. We also touched on our civic virtue, which those things I mentioned includes our civic virtue, which is the cultivation of our habits, which are important for the success of the community. There you go, economics. All right, so that also includes civic engagement, how we communicate with each other, our sociology, our behavior amongst one another, our behavior of trade, our behavior of finance, business, etc. So as y'all know, Friday is the holy day. Oh, you who know. When the call is proclaimed to supplication on Friday, the day of assembly, hasten earnestly to the remembrance of the Heavenly Father and Divine Mother, and leave off business and traffic. That is best for you if you but knew. And when prayer is finished, then may ye disperse through the land and seek the bounty of God and celebrate the praises of God of 10, and without stint, that ye may prosper. All chaplaincy temple services and meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is our holy day for all Muslims and peacemakers all over the world. This is according to Act 2 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws by the Prophet, Noble Ali, which states all temples and subordinate temples are to conduct holy day service every Friday, starting promptly at their respective time and ending promptly at their respective time. All civilians, patrons, denizens, prospects, and ministers are expected to attend the temple for the Friday holy day temple service and meeting. On Friday, the Moorish Americans, Moorish Asian, and Moorish African Muslims and peacemakers all come together to supplicate and to illustrate that which Allah has blessed them with. The temple services are open according to divine love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. At no time will templates, adepts, ministers, patrons, or outside congregation or guests be allowed to disrupt the holy day service. Nor will civilians be admitted under the influence of alcohol or any severe intoxicants. All templates, adepts, and civilians attending the holy day service must have their heads covered with either a turban, fez, or kufi, or spiritual covering. Baseball caps should not be worn in the temple or during temple service. The Sunday school temple service and meeting is mandatory, and all Moorish nationals, templates, and temple denizens must promptly attend the temple service and send their children to the Sunday school gatherings. The teacher must conform himself and herself to the Temple 101 questionnaire, and let every civilian man, woman, and child exercise his or her 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation, and now the entire global village. According to Act 5 of the additional laws by the Prophet Noble Ali, every subordinate temple should have 2 Sunday school gatherings held. The first meeting should be held 1 to 2 hours before the adult service. Children's Sunday school should be conducted by a director of the Children's Sunday School and programs. The Sunday school gathering is designed to assist the temple in learning the Temple 101 questionnaire and developing an understanding of just what these holy keys mean and how they are to be applied to our everyday lives. The divine constitution and bylaws with the Moorish prayer, the holy covenant of the Asiatic nation, El's holy Injiyl, El's holy Qur'aan, and the civic editions or lessons of the Holy Temple of Moorish Science are also subjects of major concern for the apprentice who is trying to complete his or her mandatory requirements for pronouncing their temple civilianship and global nationality. All lessons for the adult Sunday school gathering must be prepared by a Grand Sheik, a divine minister, or an assistant Grand Sheik. Lessons called by us no-fights editions may be submitted to the apprentice for completion and returned to the temple. Once the lessons are completed and graded, they must be placed in the active members' temple district file. The Sunday school temple service and meeting is a wonderful opportunity to study the liturgy, teachings of the prophet. No civilian is to become disruptive during the Sunday meeting. All templars must bring paper and pen to the temple service and meeting along with the basic temple literature and assignments. No templars or patrons to eat food or other snacks during the temple service or meeting, but water is permitted. All templars must attend their Sunday temple service and meetings as diligently as they attend their holy day temple service and meeting. Both were called out for by the Prophet Noble Ali and is required as a matter of temple law. According to the Divine Constitution, Act 7 in part, all Templars must promptly attend their temple services and meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and now also Moorish Science Temple of Africa, and Moorish Science Temple of Asia, and adjoining world islands on behalf of all indigenous peoples. For membership, any heads of temple of all temple jurisdictions are not to charge for naturalization, or to overcharge for cards, buttons, or anything issued by and through the Prophet. Those who contribute to any of the proceedings are not Moors, civilians, or patrons, but robbers. Temple nationality and membership in the Holy Temple's vast estate, public beneficiary trust, sisters and brothers, kin and kinfolk, is free, not only here, but all over the world. All kin and kinfolk desiring to become a civilian of a subordinate temple must follow these instructions from the temple secretary and acquire the application for naturalization found here on holytemples.org, which is our temple website. The Secretary of the Temple Jurisdiction will help all newcomers by explaining the naturalization affidavit and application for membership in the Temple's vast estate, or what we call a public beneficiary trust, to the new prospective civilians of the Temple's vast estate, or what we call a public beneficiary trust, and arranging for him or her to be consulted by the Royal Council of said temple or subordinate temple. The Royal Chairman or woman will set the date for the new temple prospect to be interviewed by the Royal Council. The new temple court civilian, upon completion of the Royal Council's consultation at the newcomers gathering, or Sunday school gathering, or Sunday, the new temple will proclaim their temple nationality at the next upcoming Holy Day temple gathering. After the new civilian prospect proclaims his or her nationality, they will be given the mandatory requirements necessary to earn their free national name and royal title of nobility as a true American royal. These requirements are as follows, and in accordance with Chapter 47 of the Moorish Circle 7 Holy Qur'an, called Egypt the capital dominion of the Empire of Africa. Chapter 25 of the Moorish Qur'an, called the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. The Moorish prayer, including the one-on-one Qur'an questions for Moorish Americans, Asians, and Africans, the Divine Constitution and bylaws, the additional laws, and the precepts, statutes, and ordinances from El's Holy Torah, El's Holy Injiyl, El's Holy Qur'an, the Holy Tabernacle Family Guide, and also the Holy Tablets through our Civics 101 course in the Global Interdependent School District and Sacred Halls of Learning, which is called New University by us of the Holy Temples of Moorish Science, for every one of the global village. Once a new civilian or template has learned these additions or lessons verbatim or to the best of their ability, he or she will be interviewed by the Temple's Royal Council as the chaplaincy to determine if the new civilian is qualified to represent himself or herself as a faithful Moorish American, Moorish African, and Moorish Asian, Muslim, or any indigenous peacemaker, and communicated to the ignorant for their instructions, and communicated to the wise for thine own improvement. Once the new civilian or template has cleared the mandatory requirements with the Royal Council, he or she will be naturalized by the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister of said subordinate temple. All right, so those are the instructions on how to proclaim your nationality. Go through your status change. It's very simple. It's not all this complex paperwork, sovereignty stuff that our people talk about that has nothing to do with status correction and changing your political status, which comes in your behavior, how you conduct yourself on a day-to-day basis, your sociology, your study of your social environment, and how you participate in that social environment. All right, so we're going to jump into what we call La Holy Shahada, or the proclamation of nationality and procedure and pronunciation of your nationality, which will be held on Holy Day, our holy days, for all civilians, denizens, Templars, peacemakers, and Muslims all over the world. During the ceremony, the new civilian or Templars will be ordained an El, Bey, or Day, and given his or her royal peerage title of Khan, Honorable, Lady, Noble, Nin, Naya, Prince or Princess by a Grand Sheik and or Divine Minister, and also receive his or her nationality card and button from the Divine Minister of the Grand Major Temple. Upon conclusion of the nationality proclamation, the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister will have the civilian, Templars, and Temple prospect stand while he or she reads the authority of the Moorish Temple of America. It is by virtue of the Religious Corporation Act document that can be found in Herod's revised statutes that gives the Moorish Temple of America, Asia, and Africa the authority to restore the nationality and birthrights of the lost Asiatics of America, Asia, Africa, and all world islands, and give them the title to their vast estate and their heritage. The Grand Sheik or Divine Minister is to read from the card and have the new national state, Allah is God, and Abu Ali the Prophet, and I am Moorish American, African, or Asian, and or world islander. This is our Moorish clarification of faith or Shahada, and our national pledge of allegiance. The new civilian or Templars free national name should then be added to the Temple's Book of Life as they enroll in the Civics 101 course and our complimentary World Civics Club. The nationality ceremony should be conducted by the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister or any other Divine Minister so designated by the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister in his or her time of absence, and most notably by the Assistant Grand Sheik and Divine Minister. The nationality card and naturalization application must be signed bearing the name and title of the Grand Sheik or Divine Minister who issued the application, the card, and the date of its issuance. The Religious Corporation Act has deemed the Global Interdependent School District and the Incorporated and Chartered Moorish Temple of America, Africa, and Asia as a religious trust and theocratic government established in 1928 on August 20th. This religious trust is the true global trusteeship system for the Holy Family of Nations, forming the global nucleus. All right, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and get into our closing literature for tonight. We're gonna take it on home. Welcome to World Temple, Branch Temple number 24 of the Moorish Temple of America. We are a global branch temple of the Moorish Temple of America. We're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. So come link yourself with the family of nations. All right, so let's get into the literature. We're going to close out for tonight, y'all. All right. So I'm not going to go into the messages from the prophet to the members since it's just me here tonight giving this lecture. So I'm going to go ahead and just go straight into the mandatory messages from the prophet, and we're going to close out with the prayer. But I hope y'all enjoyed y'all holy day this weekend, especially those that will be coming back listening to the replays. They will also be posted up. I'm going to get us caught up on YouTube. And like I said, we almost monetized on YouTube, so we will be doing some things, getting these sermons and lectures out there even more, and prepare ourselves for what's to come next and the future, and to be carriers of the word, the message. It's not that hard to live an easy life. It's not that easy to live a hard life. But for some, it is hard to live an easy life. And for some, it's easy to live a hard life. With that, we're going to go into the warning to all the peacemakers and Muslims, which is to be read in every temple service and meeting. The prophet said, I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches, while at work and at homes or on the streets. We're for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your card to Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fast, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. True peace, Noble Drew Ali. All right, so we're going to get into the last warning and we're going to close it out with the prayer, y'all. This is to be proclaimed in all temple services and meetings. Islam. The prophet says, I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That's why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and ability. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I performed in the past few years. Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. All right, y'all, so we're going to close out with that. We're going to go into our prayer, and we're going to call it a night. I'll see y'all next week, next holy day, or this Sunday, for those that reach out. I will be here if needed. All right, so facing the east, feet at a 45-degree angle. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Amen. All right, y'all. We know who's the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Why do? True peace.